So
That's
my
funny.
name is Daniel Hibbert, Steven's little brother. And so while Steven is really good at understanding Amazon in a whole, and he's been selling online for quite a while, I was just always his like helping hand inside of that. If for no other reasons, at some points, just for pure entertainment out of how boring some of the stuff we had to do was. But my passion and what was driving me was graphic design. So that's what I got into. I was always doing graphic design as a side hustle, even in high school and things like that. I really loved that. I got a few professional jobs doing it, which was really cool. But the opportunity that we saw in merch and selling print-on-demand products as a whole was, way more beneficial and kind of on track with what I wanted to do with my life rather than working for somebody else, whether it was at a screen printing company or wherever. So merch kind of fit our skill set perfectly. I was able to do all the designs. I was already knew the t-shirt world very well. So I was able to just continue my passion of making designs for shirts and use that with Amazon's platform. And then Steven was a ginormous help because the only way to get seen on Amazon is actually by using good keywords and knowing where that traffic and those customers are. So that's kind of how we got started. And then, like Steven said, Jenni and Ryan just pushing us into teaching because they saw that we, kind of had a special relationship, the two of us coming from kind of two different worlds, but working perfectly for this platform. And we just love helping people. We love seeing other people have success with what we're teaching. Hopefully you guys will see when we actually get into this presentation that we've got some, cool things to talk about as far as print on demand goes.
Yeah, I just want to ask, this is being recorded, right?
Yes.
I'm going to send this to my mother. My brother talking good about me out here.
That's hilarious. We'll just kind of cut that part out, but yeah, just kidding. Okay, so what we want to do, guys, is have a little bit we have a few slides, not very many, but really want to have a discussion and kind of like a roundtable type of a feel to it, I suppose, as we dig into print on demand and use these 5 benefits as our just to provide some structure. But so I wanted to say that. And then also something that you said triggered this, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think Nate, it was you. Maybe not, but one of you said it, that, well, one of the things that I think that how we look differently at print on demand, at KDP, at merch, and even though those two are Amazon platforms, I think we're real passionate about looking at things differently in that we're not interested in working for Amazon. We're interested in making Amazon work for us. And so that's pretty much a foundation and a strategy that I think we're going to be digging into more and more around print on demand, making print on demand work for us as well in that earn as we learn. So let's dig in, and maybe this will make more sense as we do that. Don't want to leave too much mystery. So basically we wanted to define, what is print on demand. And I actually asked these guys, my definition was products printed to order. No, wait, this was a mix of ours, I think. Products printed to order based on your designs. I think mine said graphics or something, but it's products that are printed. Okay, they're printed to order. So they're printed as the order is made based on your designs. So your designs are what are printed on them. Okay. And then this was a little bit more detailed, which Nate, I can't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember who said what, but one of you guys was going on, and I'm sure you have more to add.
You take credit for it, Jenni. We're not, knows about us.
It's all a blur right now. I'll tell you, it's dinner time. I haven't really eaten much, so we're just going to go. I have a lot of coffee in me right now. So, but basically, I think one of you guys defined it as private label with our designs or with your designs. So that's pretty much what print on demand. It's an ability to be able to create a private label because it is your design. It's a custom product that you create. It's printed after the sale's made. So that's the print to order. And then it's also handled by a warehouse, which I'm sure Nate's super excited about because, of that new job description thing you get to put on your resume as being like the amazing boxer. Anyway, so you don't have to touch the inventory. That's kind of the point there.
And no more tape gun warrior. No.
Yeah, that sounds like a shirt or something. I don't know. Tape gun warrior. So we talked about this briefly, but the first benefit is that there's no out-of-pocket costs. Literally, There's no out-of-pocket costs. And if you guys have, I've talked a lot about KDP in the private label group. A lot of you have taken the 10 books in 10 days class that I've done with Hallie. A lot of you are involved in merch and know Nate and Steven from that. And all of those are, there's no out-of-pocket costs, which is a super cool benefit because, why, Steven?
No replenishable costs, no additional inventory, no upfront inventory costs. That was the thing that was hurting us. As much as I love to test things out, the private label stuff was kind of killing us because I was always like, okay, we need to keep this plate spinning, but I also want to test all these other things. And you have to keep on making those upfront orders, dealing with a lot of suppliers. Dealing with suppliers is not bad, but when you have 100 of them that you're trying to deal with, it just becomes a nightmare. Instead of just, oh, this print-on-demand company can cover all these products. Now I just have to change up the design and sell those. And I want to keep on reordering everything all the time, making sure I'm pretty much juggling my business. It allows me to step back and work on my business instead of in my business. Way easier.
I think it goes back to the earn as we learn too. And what you you have invested a lot in ads. And one of the things we talk about is this PPI method where you learned a lot. It's not wasted time or money or anything. You've learned a lot, but we talk a lot about PPI, and what that is about in a nutshell is finding a product, getting a few, sending them in, running ads, collecting data based on how people are finding your product and how what keywords are they using to get there. And so you use that data then to optimize your listing or to find new products and what we call golden gaps. Well, what if you could do that without having to buy the product on the front end? Okay. And what if you could do that because you don't have to buy the product without necessarily having to do ads? So you can learn, because you can have, if there's no inventory costs, then there's no ceiling, right? Now, I know with merch, on merch, there is a ceiling. There is not with KDP, as far as I know. And there are other t-shirt and we're not just going to be talking, we're not just talking about shirts and books, guys. Okay. This is all print on demand. And what are some other products? I mean, I think of like mugs and aprons and, mouse pads and stuff, but there's even more than that. There's,
any product that you could possibly print on, there's probably a print on demand company for that. We will be talking about Redbubble, not tonight, but in the future. And Redbubble has I don't know however many products they have, but we help schools, and the schools always want their, what do they call them, spirit gear?
Yeah, spirit gear.
Yeah, bags, phone cases, just anything that a student could possibly want.
Right. So the value of being able to, since it's a bit of a mind shift, since it doesn't cost you anything, what you're learning from, what if you could get 100 products up and kind of see, like Steven, you always say you throw a wide net and then see what sticks. Well, that's hard to do when you're limited on money and a budget. And you don't want to take that risk. I mean, even if you're not limited, do you really want to, spread this really wide net here? There's no reason not to spread that wide net and see what customers are buying. And then you learn from your customer and create basically an avatar. So the benefit here is that doesn't cost you anything to do that. And that's actually extremely cool. It does cost your time. But there are ways that you can streamline the process.
Yeah.
But
and
there's no monetary investment.
Part of the reason you asked earlier why me and Steve are qualified to talk on print on demand. And I think that's part of it. We've just put in a lot of time into print on demand. So by us putting in the time and sharing what we've found and the systems that we've put in place to help us streamline our time, like those can be instantly applied to your business. There's no, price that's stopping you. It's not like we have this huge budget where we can test all these products. You can do the same thing, just using, our failures basically to teach you lessons and just to listen to what we have learned over all this time that we've put in.
Yeah, I guess that's a bigger part of why when you brought this idea to me, I got really jazzed up, is because the amount of money I was spending on ads to get information and data to make a wiser business decision, because I still do wholesale, private label, and everything else, and trying to test the amount of things that we wanted to test. I spent, especially this Christmas, thousands of dollars and just feel like I don't I'm throwing money at information that I don't fully understand or why Amazon is giving it to me this way. And there's so many variations in that, that if at least if I go through the product route, the way that we're doing it with books, shirts, and different products, at least I know, okay, the customers are buying this. I can cast way wider of a net than just one product with these keywords, hoping that someone clicks on it and hoping that I gather information from it. I can actually send out a whole bunch of products in a product line and better understand the customer. It's way more cost effective than running a ton of ads.
Let's move on. So Stephen, you talked about this a little bit, that about storage fees. No, was that? Yeah. Replenishable. Sorry. Storage fees. We haven't talked about this yet. This is another benefit. There's no storage fees. Okay. Zero, Zippo, nothing, nada, no storage fees. How many of you get a little tired of Amazon storage fees? I mean, they might be okay rates, whatever, but it's still money that you have to take into an investment. You have to take into consideration a cost. You have to overhead costs. You don't have that because it's print on demand. So there's nothing that's being stored. And that's pretty sweet. Do you guys have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think just the wake up of testing a lot of things and then trying to juggle your business. There's always something that you made a bad buy on, and then you forget about it until 6 months passes, and then you get hit with that super large bill, and then you're like, what is going on? How did I get charged with this? And then you look back and you go, I forgot to pull that stuff out of storage.
Yeah.
It just juggling everything the way that I was doing it before, with having a whole bunch of products inside their storage. And all those storage costs do add up. Even when you did books before, the first book had no storage. Now they charge for every item that's in there. The more products that you have, the more storage piles up. The way that we do it, we have thousands of listings and pay nothing on storage each month. That is like mind-boggling.
It's really just like another limitation that you don't have. You don't have to have a huge budget to start listing things. You don't have to worry about, sending things in. There's even lag time with all of that and actually getting things to storage. There's none of that. This is all like that resale information coming back when we're working with wholesalers and stuff. It's like we just don't have to deal with any of that headache anymore. The print-on-demand companies, whether it's Amazon or whoever is fulfilling those orders, they're the one having to handle all the storage and all the headache that goes along with that.
Yep.
I don't know if we touch on this in one of the
bullet points,
but Nathaniel just said something that triggered in my mind is why I made such a hard switch to print on demand. Getting products from suppliers, either from China or locally, it still takes time. So there's a few weeks built in there. And then by the time you ship it into Amazon, create the listings, like that all took, even at our fastest, was still a month-long process. When Nathaniel asked me to help him, and then I was like, okay, let's do these listings. How long is it going to take? And then he showed me that same day that those listings were up. That's when my mind shift was like, oh, we should be spending way more time on this, because the feedback that I can get is so much quicker. When I'm testing that private label stuff, it takes almost 4 to 6 months to get the information I need to make a decision to move forward. But with print on demand, it's almost like overnight, I know if it's going to at least have legs or not to continue on going down that path. Or is this niche something that I should be going after? And the way that we're going after and building these product lines, it's very apparent after a few weeks, hey, should I be switching gears here, or should I continue to go down this path?
Right. That's excellent. And that is not on our, like I said, we could probably come up with even more. And as we're talking, I know we're adding to this, which is awesome. But that's a really good point. The speed of being able to get from idea to a listing created is huge. In the KDP class that we're teaching, one of the videos I post in there is going from nothing to a book published in about 30 minutes. And I video the process. So that's a pretty big deal, actually, to be able to then get access to data faster. And if you put things out there and they're not giving you they're not working for you, you really haven't lost anything. So
it's a little time and effort, but other than that, you have very little skin in the game.
Yep. Okay. So number 3, number 1 was no out-of-pocket costs. We keep coming back to that. These are like the biggest complaints from online sellers. And they kind of just that's why I'm so excited about print on demand, and I'm getting more excited about it, because it kind of just crashes through and knocks all those hurdles, really, those headaches, like Nate, you were saying, it just takes them away. So that's good for our health. It's good for our business. It's good for everything, right? So the third one is easy testing, and we've kind of touched on that already. But do you guys remember these?
Yeah, you didn't feel bad now.
Wonderful Scantron.
I didn't do good in school, so this is bringing up a lot of bad memories.
Bad memories. You don't have to do this Scantron stuff. No, you don't. Well, you don't. But the testing, if you guys have gone through, you don't have to run ads to collect data. You can actually, like we were saying, throw a wide net and kind of see what sticks and learn that way as well without paying for ads. You can pay for ads. We've seen that be a little bit inconsistent with some of the print on demand stuff. So at this point, we're kind of looking for alternatives, and the wide net strategy seems to be working better, giving us better data. So the testing is easy.
This helps a lot of people too, especially when I was doing wholesale and private label. It was like, okay, these products are very similar. I don't know which one I got to do. I got to do more initial upfront research. I know Jenni always talks about where's your trigger. With print on demand, a lot of people come to us and say, okay, what design should I put up? What niche should I go after? I have these two things that I'm thinking about. Which one should I do? And our answer is always yes. Like, do both of them. It doesn't take that long to make those listings. It doesn't take that long to kind of gather those keywords and start testing that stuff. And the way that we're trying to teach people is don't just guess. Don't just go, oh, I have this crazy idea. I'm going to throw this out there. There is some validation that you need to do, but test that. After you've done some validation, test it. There's no reason you should stop. In private label, it might be I don't know if the market is ready for this. I don't know if I should jump into this. It looks like it might be a little too competitive. You can test all that stuff because it really only takes a little bit of time and effort to put something there to see if it'll work or not. You'll be able to tell in a few weeks if it was worth your time or not.
Yeah, and these bullet points are really just building on top of each other. I mean, the reason we can test so easily is because there is no upfront cost for anything that we're doing. And there's no storage fee for anything we're doing. So with those two limitations gone, like just yes is always our answer.
I know, but you
Which
know
one
what?
of these things should I do? Both. Yes.
Right. But it's a huge mind shift. It's a really big mind shift. And, I worked with people and they have thousands of books up and they're seeing sales, but not, what they want to see more. And I'm like, okay, in a short amount of time, you've gotten over 1,000 books up. I mean, like we're talking a month or two. So you're doing something, look at what's working. You're doing something right. And you are getting some good sales. It's not what you want to see, but why are those selling? Look deeper at that and do more of that. And all you want. And the other thing I say is once you've done, this isn't on here. Well, it sort of is. Actually, it might be our next point. Let's go to the next one. Once you have done this and put up, now like my thing's KDP, once you have put a book up, you never, ever, ever have to create that again. You never have to put the time in there again. It is replenishable without replenishing. You don't have to go find the product at the store again. You don't have to go place an order and ship it in. You don't have to do any of that. Once it's up, you never have to do anything with it again with print on demand. That listing can stay up and it just continues to fulfill itself. So the amount of work that you're putting on, whatever is working there, look and see what's working more. Why is this working? Do more of that because there's clearly something going on that's right. And then recognize that the time that you've put in, even for the ones that aren't working, that's still valuable. It's valuable data. You know what doesn't work just as much as you know it does work. That's good information. And you have not invested a single penny. Sure, you've put your time into it, but that time it's not an equal ratio to the number of sales per month because your time, I don't even know how to word this because I'm not a math person, but that amount of time doesn't change. It's static, whereas the sales will change, right? So you'll continue to get sales every month, but you aren't putting any more time into those products.
Yeah, we say that print on demand is just a compounding business for that exact reason. There's no, reason that once a shirt sells, you should take it down or have to remove it or have to worry about it really ever again. I mean, we're in January, so at the beginning of this month, I just pulled all of our sales from last year, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I made this design, or yeah, I forgot listing these shirts. There's so many designs that we've had up there for almost 3 years now that just continue to sell for us almost weekly. And we keep finding more of those. It's not like we have to go back to that one and make sure everything's good or find a supplier who can, has a lower price so we can increase profits. Like we don't have a lot of those headaches. We just keep moving forward and keep compounding on all of the knowledge that we have and all of the listings and sales that we're having.
Yeah, I want to take a step back. And when we were doing OA and RA, all the research and stuff that we're doing, we would love those products that as soon as we get them and send them in, they sell like hotcakes. But eventually those are going to run out and you're not going to be able to find them again. You might be able to try to turn it into a private label product, but it's a lot of work to do that. With the way that we're doing our business, like how this says replenishables without replenishables, I have books that I tested the very first time Jenni told me about KDP that are still up and that are still selling. They were not good. I was just trying to understand what she was talking about.
Before I started helping with it.
Yeah. She said I could write a book. I said, I dropped out of high school. I don't think so. But she showed me how easy it was. And then I was like, okay, let's see if we can do that. And then I started playing around with it and just started putting some books up. I did a lot of research, probably way more than I needed to. But now after, like Nathaniel said, we take up all our failures and all our experience to help speed you up. I put a lot of time into research and put a few books up, and those books still sell. Like Nathaniel said, he pulled all the research for the shirts that we did. I pulled all the books that we've done over the last, I don't even know how long now. And then just, I'm always surprised at like, oh yeah, that was the very first book I put up when Jenni was telling me I could do something. And I took a passion of mine and found a way to be able to do it, no content, and just put that book up and then start having success. And it's still selling. It doesn't make a ton of money, but like Jenni said, it's that one time putting your time in, and then you just let it continue to ride and then compound on that business. I don't think you can just put one book up and then that's your business and then cash out. I think you need to keep working at it, but it does compound. It does grow once you put more time into it.
Yep. Love it. Okay. So no out-of-pocket costs, no storage fees, easy testing, replenishable without testing. It really does sound too good to be true. And I hate having those kinds of, I don't like presenting those kinds of opportunities, I guess, because we all know if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. But keep in mind,
I'm not gonna lie, it does take time and effort. Yeah. And it is a mind shift. But once you figure it out, I think just like anything, we just had a fire in the back and my wife was starting the fire and just telling her like how easy it is with a match. And I think that's what we're trying to do is like, we want to set the plate to make everything as easy as possible. All you need to do is strike it, put the energy and effort into it, and then let that business grow. But yeah, it does sound too good to be true. Even when Daniel told me he was having sales, I was like, what are you talking about? What did you do? Like you just sat in front of the computer with nothing and put something up and the next day it's sold? Like,
yeah.
I don't believe
there is work.
What kind of black magic is this? I've been selling online for a long time, but this is not how it works.
But okay, the work comes into learning the strategy. And the work comes into learning how to validate properly. And the work comes into creating the design that you're going to put on the product. The work comes into, setting up your KDP or merch account or whatever, wherever else you're going to go. There is work that goes into it. And it isn't, like you said, get one product up and you are set for life, unless you have like the most amazing gatekeeper ever who has the huge audience, but then and they're going to continue to buy this product. That's too good to be true. I think, that's going to be a rare thing, but most of you are already selling online. And so you understand the work and the headache and all of that goes into that. And it's just another strategy. It's another revenue stream to add that is very easy to do and to add. So the fifth thing was low cost of entry for quick business building. And I think I was supposed to put a graphic here and did not. So we're going to imagine that there's a rocket just like shooting up, or I really liked your analogy of a match, So we're just going to like picture that there, and you can picture Nate and Steven in the little window of the rocket waving. No, you guys should be in the rocket. We want to launch you and what you're doing. But do you want to expand on this a little bit? Just this idea of this low cost entry, no cost entry. I mean, you might outsource graphics or you might outsource something, so there could be some costs involved. But why is this a quick business building strategy when we're saying, we're talking about making this work for you, not you working for it, right? So how can this be a quick business building strategy?
I think it's a step back and focusing on the actual business. Me and Nathaniel and my mother and my wife had a successful reselling business, but we were the ones constantly working on it.
Right.
It is a no cost of entry to get in to start making listings and putting listings up, but we want to help you guys grow a business. To have somebody hired to do art does not cost that much money. To hire somebody to do research is not that much money. It is a low cost, and it should be building. When you start hitting certain levels and you start making that amount of money, it's a very low cost way to run and build a business, because you can outsource a lot of the work to other people and then have an actual business. I wouldn't say, even now looking back at it, I didn't have a successful reselling business. I had a successful reselling job that we were constantly working at. Now we have a business. Most of the day-to-day print on demand business is handled by teams other than ourselves. I mean, we still manage the business and direct it, but a lot of our time now goes into other businesses, other relationships, other partnerships. Like Jenni said, if you reach out to, you didn't say influencers, so you said gatekeeper. If you work out with gatekeepers and they have an audience, it's much easier to build a business that way. A lot of people, when they start with merch, the problem is you're at tier 10. A great way to tier up out of that first is to start doing some of those partnerships. We worked with a lot of churches, do the shirts at cost, let them buy those shirts for, it's probably gone up a little bit now to like $14.
Yeah.
And just let them buy it at cost. If you do one mission trip, if you do any little small group, there's always a gap between people that are doing local screen printing and what you can offer. And if you do it at a low cost, that's a great way to tier up.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to stress the business part of it. Doing this, compounding, understanding, building a system, and then being able to hand that off. I don't know of another way or a lower cost way of actually growing a business than print on demand.
Yep. And I wasn't listening because
Jenni on the 11th hour pulling it off.
You know me. Okay, so I might repeat a little bit of what you were saying, but probably not, because you explained this really well, which is why I'm glad you were the one to explain it. But this is a launch pad in that, we've throughout tonight, we've talked about throwing this wide net. We've broken down the barriers, why you'd be able to. There's nothing holding you back. There's no money that holds you back. There's no storage fees that hold you back. There's the replenishable. There's, all of the testing's easy. Throw that wide net, get a bunch of products out there, and then collect that data and allow that to be a foundation for what you're going to pursue. So you might have said this. Am I repeating what you said? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't think you're
just saying it different.
You're reiterating what I'm saying, but you're using the whole, what we just talked about. I kind of went off on a left.
Okay.
A little bit on a tangent.
Okay. So, but then what you can do, it's a great way to test ideas for like private label, or mostly for private label. So if you end up having, you see something a trend in the data that you're collecting with inside of a niche, then you can expand on that. So looking back and seeing what's selling, why is this selling, and further testing and refining, then eventually you might get to a point where you are willing to invest because you're proving an idea out, and not just an idea, but design. You're proving something out that's connecting with a customer base within a niche, and you're building a customer avatar that is consistently responding to what you're presenting and offering. So that gives you more confirmation. It's another way to test. So in the private label, we talk about this 5-step test for validation. Love it. It's totally, and a lot of that is overlapped into some of how we do validation for POD, but it's a little bit different. But the idea is that you'll be able to get more confirmation without having to put money into ads to be able to move forward with a private label or whatever you want to do. Information, maybe you want to do a course, or whatever you want to do. It gives you more confirmation to be able to invest money for a larger or for another direction based on the information, the data that you've collected. So it's that earn as we learn. So along that process too, you are making money because these things are selling. So you're not
say it again.
The data. What did you say?
I said, say it again.
Yep. What did I say? Because I don't remember now.
You're making money.
Yeah.
Unlike the running all the PPC ads that I just spent thousands of dollars on, just the print on demand business, we're getting a ton of the information and we're earning as we're learning.
Amar, the POD, just clothing, is coming to mind. Okay, no, POD is, so KDP is books. Okay, and what we talk a lot about is low content, no content books, which are things like journals, workbooks, cookbooks. They're books that are nonfiction, mostly a do-it-yourself or a self-help, like a check. I'm trying to think of ideas. A log or a diary, track anything that you're tracking. They're books that are not a story that's written out that takes a long time to write. A prompt journal. Journals are really, really big. So the class that Hallie and I teach, we just get you through the process to learn how to do KDP, and we use journals. So we talk about doing journals. But so that's one. T-shirts is clothing. That's true. What are some others? So aprons are kind of
anything you can think of. There's like a print on demand, or like water bottles. There's
backpacks.
Well, all of the promotional products, like anything that's a promotional product, those aren't, when you're looking at promo companies, those are not print on demand because you are placing an order, but they are custom products. So anything that can customized or printed on, there's going to be a print on demand option for jewelry, placemats, mouse pads, which nobody really uses anymore. Probably even like thumb drives. I'm just looking around my office, like what else? Pens, glasses, candles, all kinds of things. So,
and I think the way that the market is set up, more things are going to be printed on demand. I mean, 3D printing was huge a little while ago. It's not going anywhere. It's only getting better and faster. More companies are offering bigger things that you wouldn't even expect to be printed on demand. There's a bike company now that's their big thing, is they print the bike as it sells. I'm sure there's bearings and other things that they got housed, but the majority of the bike is printed. It's just the wave of the future. That's how, I don't think every business is going to be like that, but a large portion of the business. Even the way that they're trying to, there are companies out there printing houses on the spot. They'll take the materials and then are able to print them out. Probably in development stage, but they have ideas for that stuff. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, the way technology is moving, it's just helping us more and more with this print on demand business. Even inside, I think it was Carla was asking or saying that she doesn't know how to design anything. Well,
no problem.
Yeah, thanks to technology advancements, now there's free programs out there that make designing super easy. Even if you can't put anything together, Steven has never used a proper design platform or program.
And I've made shirts.
And now he can.
And I understand color matching because it tells me exactly how to do it.
Right. Like, so there's a lot of tools now put in place to just help us with.
So you've done graphic design, you've done books now, like things you never ever thought you would ever do.
I should call all those teachers that gave me an F and tell them.
Send them a book.
You'd amount to nothing. You don't know. I'm out here in these streets making everything.
That's funny. You know what, Robert, you bring up a good point. So pop sockets, there's a lot of examples here in the Facebook comments. I'll read them off because not everybody's in the Facebook group, but pop sockets, cups, mobile phone covers, pens. So the pop sockets, though, Robert says, I can't believe anybody paid money for them. That's why I doubt my own vision. They have paid money for them. And absolutely. And okay, as far
you are not your customer. That's probably the
exactly. You are not your customer.
If you get nothing out of this, you are not your customer. The things that I would purchase are not the majority of things that we're selling. Nathaniel made a black on black shirt that I told him to his face, this is never going to sell. You don't know what you're doing. That's one of our best selling consistent shirts. So I've eaten a lot of humble pie in this business. And that's why we say test. We don't know. We are experienced, but we are by far no experts to understand this market. Every niche is different. Every sub niche is different. All the customers are different. I do not understand the customers at all. I had told the story in our group. My wife was buying apples before a house. And I was asking other people around because she sent me to go buy the apples. And I was like, okay, what type of apples? Is crunchy, crisp? Okay. She came over, just picked up a bag. I got home and Nathaniel asked her, oh, I see you got the apples. And she's like, yeah, I got them because they were small and cute. I was like, I would have
Why would you buy apples?
Because they were small and cute. That's not even a customer. I kind of understand, but
you can't filter by
that. But you understand they buy apples. They buy small apples. Is cute the word that you should use? It's just mind-boggling. But with print on demand, you're allowed to, or you're capable of testing all that stuff to see what works best.
Yeah. Okay. I need to go back here.
I like this format when you just throw out bullet points and I can just go off on a tangent. This is the best for me.
And I can keep
think the
you in
hardest
line
thing
by
for us is
going.
when we make slides and I have to like stick to it.
Oh, that's
Just
not
having
fun.
bullet points allow me to talk. This is by far
Yeah,
the
I
best.
can keep you in line though by just going to the next slide. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it's freedom. I could just talk
It's
pretty
great.
much whenever I want.
Well, that's what I was hoping, to just kind of have some discussion and kind of more on the fly. I mean, we went over these 5. We kind of brainstormed, okay, these are the top 5 that we should probably hit. And then let's just get on and talk about it. And that's really what we're doing. So just in review, guys, this is just super cool. No out-of-pocket costs, no storage fees, easy testing, replenishable without replenishing, which I think is super, super, super cool. And then low cost entry for quick business building. So you can take what you're learning, earn as you learn, you can make money for it. So it's not just low cost entry. You might even come out on the positive side, right? And you probably will. So it's just a really cool strategy. If you haven't looked into print on demand, I highly recommend it. If you're an Amazon seller, merch, KDP are easy entry points. I think we're good. Any questions? We're happy to help. So thank you guys. This was kind of fun to hang out and share kind of what we've been talking about this for a while. Oh, should we talk about our plans for May at all?
That's a you call.
Yeah, that's
I'm
completely
excited
on you.
about that.
Nathaniel, if you even mention it, Nathaniel will jump off and talk about it for another.
You guys want to hear this? Okay, so here's our plan.
Life.
I love it. Here's our plan. Okay, we're thinking in May. We're still buttoning up the details. There's a lot of details to button up. But one of the things that actually where this kind of started was we want to be able to do live workshops together, and we're going to kind of go on a tour. We're looking to hit 3 or 4 locations, depending on where you guys are located. And what we want to do is kind of be able to dig deeper into this. And again, we're all about helping you take action. So it would be like a workshop where you would bring your computer and you would walk away with things done. Okay. That's what we're looking to do.
Orlando, that's
right
next to us.
That's right next to them. We might go all the way across the country if there's enough demand for it. Our family loves a good road trip. We went, I don't know, we just do. That's what we do. And I know Nate likes to go off, so we're pulling Stephen along. So I'm going to stop there because the questions are there. Keep posting them. We'll answer there, but we're going to go over to the other group in a few minutes and jump over there and just greet you guys for those who have signed up. So we're signing off and have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys, for checking out the video. My name is Steven. This is my brother, Nathaniel. Together, we are the Wingman.
If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out our other videos or like, comment, and subscribe on this one.